dirty prostitute! You think you can steal my husband and then marry my brother? Today, you will suffer. The slap landed on Akinyi's face so hard that she fell to the ground. Her white wedding dress scattered in the red dust. Her makeup mixed with tears as she looked up and saw the woman standing over her. Wanjiku, the woman she thought she would never see again. Behind Wanjiku stood 5 other women. All of them were angry. All of them knew Akinyi's secret. And today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Her groom, Kamau, stood frozen at the church entrance. His mouth was wide open. He looked at Akinyi like she was a stranger, like she was something dirty on the bottom of his shoe. Someone, please help me, Akinyi begged. But nobody moved, not even her own mother. Wanjiku pulled out her phone and pressed play. Akinyi's voice filled the church speakers. She was laughing about a woman whose husband she was sleeping with, laughing about how stupid the wife was, laughing about how easy it was to take her man. That woman was Wanjiku. And Akinyi had no idea that the man she was about to marry was Wanjiku's younger brother. How did Akinyi's life get to this point? How did she become this person? This is how it all started. Akinyi grew up poor in Kibera. Very poor. Sometimes her family didn't eat for 2 days. Her mother worked as a house help for rich families. And her father left them when Akinyi was 7 years old. She watched her mother cry every night. She watched her mother kneel down and beg landlords not to throw them out. She watched her mother wear the same dress for 3 years. Akinyi promised herself something. When she grew up, she would never be poor. She would never beg anyone for anything. She would have money, nice clothes, and a good life, no matter what it took. When Akinyi turned 23, she got a job as a receptionist at the Sarova Hotel in Nairobi. The pay was small, but she saw something that changed her life. She saw how rich men treated women. She saw the gifts, the money, the expensive dinners. And she noticed something else. Most of these men wore wedding rings, but they came to the hotel with girlfriends, not their wives. One day, a man named Omondi came to the hotel. He was fat, short, and his breath smelled like cigarettes. But his watch cost more than Akinyi's entire year's salary. He smiled at her and asked for her number. She gave it to him. That night, he took her to a restaurant where one plate of food cost 10,000 shillings. 10,000. That was her rent money. After dinner, he gave her 20,000 shillings just for spending time with him. Just like that. No hard work. No suffering. You're beautiful, Akinyi, he said, holding her hand. I want to see you again. She noticed his wedding ring, shining under the restaurant lights. Are you married? She asked him. He laughed. Yes, but my wife doesn't understand me. She's always busy with the children. She doesn't take care of herself anymore. Not like you. Akinyi should have felt bad. She should have thought about his wife at home, probably taking care of his children, cooking his food, washing his clothes. But all she could think about was the money in her purse. 20,000 shillings for just sitting and smiling. She saw him again, and again, and again. Within 3 months, Omondi was paying her rent. He bought her a new phone. He gave her money for her mother. He bought her clothes that she only dreamed about wearing. All she had to do was be available when he called. Go where he wanted, smile when he wanted, and ignore the wedding ring on his finger. Soon, Omondi introduced her to his friends. All of them were married. All of them were rich. All of them wanted a young, beautiful girl to spend time with. Akinyi became that girl for 5 different men. Monday was Omondi's day. Tuesday was Kipchoge's day. Wednesday was Nyoroge's day. Thursday was Barasa's day. Friday was Muchoki's day. Weekends were for whoever paid the most. Her favorite was Muchoki. He owned 3 matatus and 2 shops in town. He had 4 children and a wife named Wanjiku. Akinyi knew her name because he complained about her all the time. Wanjiku is always nagging me, he would say. She wants money for school fees, money for food, money for rent. She never stops asking. Akinyi would rub his shoulders and say, "Poor baby, you work so hard. You deserve to relax." He loved when she said things like that. He would smile and hand her more money. Sometimes, his wife would call while they were together at a hotel. Akinyi would watch him lie to her. "I'm at a business meeting, Wanjiku. Stop disturbing me. I'll come home when I'm ready." Then he would hang up and kiss Akinyi. She felt powerful. These men left their wives to be with her. They spent their money on her. They chose her. It felt good. It felt like winning. Her friends warned her. "Akinyi, this is wrong. What about their wives? What about their children?" She would laugh. Their wives should take better care of their husbands. If they were doing their job, these men wouldn't need me. Akinyi didn't care about those women. She didn't care about their pain. She only cared about her money, her clothes, her good life. She had escaped poverty, and she was never going back. One day, she went to visit Muchoki at his matatu stage. She wanted to surprise him and ask for money to buy a new dress. When she got there, she saw a woman arguing with him. The woman was thin, tired-looking, and wearing a nurse's uniform. Her eyes were red like she had been crying. "Muchoki, the children need school fees," the woman begged. "Please, they will be sent home tomorrow." "I don't have money, Wanjiku," he shouted at her. "You think money grows on trees?" Akinyi was standing behind a fruit stand, watching. This was Wanjiku, his wife. The woman she had heard so much about. She looked nothing like Akinyi imagined. She looked broken, tired, sad. Muchoki saw Akinyi and his eyes got big. He quickly gave Wanjiku some money and pushed her away. "Go home. I'll talk to you later." Wanjiku walked away slowly, her shoulders bent like she was carrying a heavy load. Muchoki came to Akinyi, smiling. "Sorry about that. My wife is always complaining." He took her shopping that same day. He spent 50,000 shillings on her. 50,000. The same man who told his wife he had no money. Akinyi should have felt guilty, but she didn't. She felt like she had won again. This continued for 2 years. She was living her best life. She moved to a nice apartment in Kilimani. She drove a small car that Omondi bought for her. Her mother was proud. She thought Akinyi had a good job with a promotion. She had no idea how her daughter really got her money. Then, everything changed when Akinyi met Kamau. She was at a coffee shop in Westlands when he walked in. Tall, handsome, young. He had the most beautiful smile she had ever seen. He sat next to her, and they started talking. He was a businessman who sold electronics. He was 29 years old, never married, no children. For the first time in years, Akinyi felt something real. Something that wasn't about money. Kamau made her laugh. He asked about her dreams. He wanted to know the real her. They started dating, and she felt different with him. Clean, new. Like she could be a better person. After 3 months, Kamau said, "Akinyi, I love you. I want to marry you." Her heart jumped. Marriage? A real relationship? A fresh start? She said yes immediately. Akinyi stopped seeing all the married men. She deleted their numbers. She ignored their calls. She was going to be a wife. A good wife. Her past was finished. Kamau took her to meet his family 2 weeks before their wedding. She was nervous but excited. She wore her best dress and practiced her smile in the mirror. They arrived at a nice house in Donholm. Kamau knocked on the door, and a woman opened it. Akinyi froze. Her blood turned to ice. Her legs started shaking. It was Wanjiku, Muchoki's wife. Wanjiku looked at Akinyi, and her face changed. First confusion, then recognition, then pure hate. You, Wanjiku whispered. Her voice was shaking. You're the one. Kamau looked confused. Nyeri, this is Akinyi, my fiancé. Akinyi, this is my older sister, Wanjiku. Sister, his sister. Muchoki's wife was Kamau's sister. Akinyi's mouth opened, but no words came out. Wanjiku's eyes filled with tears. Get out of my house. Nyeri, what's wrong? Kamau asked. This woman. Wanjiku pointed at Akinyi with a shaking finger. This woman has been sleeping with my husband for 2 years. This is the prostitute who destroyed my marriage. Kamau turned to Akinyi slowly. Akinyi, what is she talking about? She tried to speak. She tried to explain. But Wanjiku pulled out her phone. I have proof, Wanjiku said. I hired someone to follow Muchoki. I have videos, photos, everything. She showed Kamau a photo. It was Akinyi and Muchoki kissing outside a hotel. Kamau's face went pale. He looked at Akinyi like she was a monster. Kamau, I can explain. Akinyi started. Don't touch me, he shouted when she reached for him. Wanjiku was crying now. Do you know how many nights I worked double shifts at the hospital while you were sleeping with my husband? Do you know how many times my children went hungry because he spent his money on you? Akinyi had no words. No excuses. Nothing. The wedding is still happening, Wanjiku said coldly. But you will regret the day you were born. Kamau walked out, without looking at Akinyi. She should have run away. She should have left Nairobi. But she was stupid. She thought maybe she could fix things. She thought maybe Kamau would forgive her. She was so wrong. On her wedding day, Akinyi put on her white dress. Her hands were shaking. Only a few people came. Most of her friends had heard rumors and stayed away. But she still hoped. Maybe Kamau still loved her. Maybe they could start over. When she got to the church, Kamau was standing at the entrance. But he wasn't smiling. His face was cold, hard. Kamau, she said, I'm sorry. I was a different person before. I've changed. That's when Wanjiku appeared, with 5 other women behind her. And that's when Akinyi's whole life fell apart. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that notification bell right now so you don't miss my stories the moment they drop. I really appreciate you sticking with me through this story. God bless you. Wanjiku's hand connected with Akinyi's face again. This time harder. Akinyi tasted blood in her mouth. Please stop, she cried. But Wanjiku grabbed her hair and dragged her across the church compound. The 5 women behind Wanjiku moved closer. Akinyi recognized 2 of them immediately. Nyambura, Njoroge's wife, and Chebet, Kipchoge's wife. The others must have been the wives of Omondi and Barasa. All the men she had been sleeping with. All their wives were here. Today you will learn, Wanjiku said through her tears. Today you will feel the pain you caused us. Kamau just stood there watching. His eyes were empty, like he didn't know Akinyi at all. Kamau, please, Akinyi begged him. Tell them to stop. I love you. I've changed. He finally spoke. His voice was cold like ice. You love me. You don't know what love is. Love doesn't destroy families. Love doesn't lie. Love doesn't sleep with someone's husband while their children are hungry. Nyambura stepped forward. She was short and round, with kind eyes that were now filled with anger. Do you know what you did to me? My husband stopped coming home. He stopped eating my food. He said I was fat and ugly. I cried every single night, wondering what I did wrong. She pulled out her phone and showed Akinyi pictures. Pictures of her and Njoroge at different hotels, at restaurants, in his car. I hired someone to follow him. Nyambura continued. When I saw these photos, I wanted to die. I thought about taking poison. My own children found me crying in the bathroom with pills in my hand. Akinyi's stomach twisted. She never thought about it like that. She never thought about what happened to these women when their husbands came home, smelling like her perfume. Chebet spoke next. She was tall and beautiful, but her face looked tired, much older than it should be. Kipchoge gave you money for handbags, while my son needed medicine. My son has asthma. He couldn't breathe properly, but there was no money for his inhaler. Do you know why? Because my husband spent 60,000 shillings buying you a phone. She held up a hospital card. My son almost died, Akinyi. He almost died because you wanted expensive things. Akinyi fell to her knees. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. You didn't want to know, Wanjiku shouted. You saw our husband's wedding rings. You knew they had families, but you didn't care. We were not real people to you. Our children were not real to you. Only money was real to you. Another woman stepped forward. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. I'm Atino, Omondi's wife. Because of you, my daughter missed her school exams. The school sent her home for fees, but Omondi said he had no money. He lied. He was spending everything on you. She pulled out a receipt from her purse. This receipt is from the same day my daughter was sent home. Omondi spent 45,000 shillings at a restaurant with you. 45,000. My daughter's school fees were only 30,000. The guilt hit Akinyi like a truck. All these women. All this pain. And it was all because of her. The last woman spoke. Her name was Njeri, Barasa's wife. She looked different from the others. She was quiet, but her eyes were the saddest Akinyi had ever seen. Barasa left me, Njeri said softly. He said he wanted a divorce. He said he found someone better, someone younger, someone more exciting. That person was you. She paused and wiped her tears. I begged him to stay. I told him I would change. I would lose weight. I would dress better. I would be whatever he wanted. But he left anyway. My children ask me every day why their father doesn't come home anymore. What do I tell them? That a 28-year-old girl was more important than his family? Akinyi couldn't breathe. The weight of what she had done crushed her completely. These were not just stories. These were real women, real children, real families that she helped destroy. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Wanjiku laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. It was bitter and painful. Sorry doesn't feed my children. Sorry doesn't pay school fees. Sorry doesn't take away the nights I cried myself to sleep. She pulled out a speaker from her bag and connected her phone. Let me show everyone here who you really are. Akinyi's own voice came out of the speaker. It was a recording from a phone call she had with her friend Mercy 6 months ago. Girl, these married men are so easy, Akinyi's voice said, laughing. Their wives are so stupid. They cook and clean and take care of children, while I just look pretty and collect money. Why should I work hard when I can just smile and get paid? Her friend's voice responded. But Akinyi, don't you feel bad? Bad? For what? If their wives were smart, they would keep their husbands happy. It's not my fault these women let themselves go. They get married and stop trying. They gain weight. They wear ugly clothes. They nag all the time. Of course their husbands will look for someone better. The recording continued. Akinyi said terrible things. Cruel things. Things she didn't even remember saying. Wanjiku is the funniest one. Her voice laughed. She works night shifts as a nurse, and Muchoki spends all his money on me. She probably thinks he's saving for their future. So stupid. Everyone at the church gasped. Akinyi's mother, who was sitting in the front row, stood up and walked out. She couldn't even look at her daughter. Kamal's face twisted in disgust. I loved you, he said quietly. I thought you were different. I thought you were special. But you're just empty. You're empty inside. Those words hurt Akinyi more than any slap. Wanjiku wasn't finished. We contacted all the other women you destroyed. They're coming. Within minutes, more women arrived. Some came with their children. One woman came with her mother-in-law. They surrounded Akinyi in a circle. All of them had the same look in their eyes. Pain, anger, betrayal. They didn't hit her again. They did something worse. They told their stories. One by one, they shared what Akinyi's actions had cost them. Lost homes because rent money went to her. Children who dropped out of school. Marriages that ended. Depression. Anxiety. Suicide attempts. Medical bills they couldn't pay. Dreams that died. Akinyi wanted to run away, but her legs wouldn't move. She had to hear it all. Every single story, every single consequence of her choices. A young woman, probably only 25, spoke last. My name is Awino. My husband left me for you 3 months ago. He's Barasa. He told me I wasn't exciting enough, that I was boring, that you made him feel young again. She held up a small bundle, wrapped in a pink blanket. A baby. This is our daughter. She's 2 months old. Barasa has never even held her. He was too busy with you to come to the hospital when she was born. The baby started crying, and something broke inside Akinyi. That innocent child would grow up without a father because she wanted money and attention. Suddenly, Barasa himself appeared at the church. He looked confused when he saw all the women gathered around Akinyi. What's going on here? He asked. Awino walked up to him with the baby. This is what's going on. This is your daughter. The daughter you abandoned for that woman. She pointed at Akinyi. Barasa's face went red. He looked at Akinyi, then at his wife, then at all the other women. I can explain. Explain what? Awino's mother appeared behind him. She was a large woman, with a fierce expression. Explain how you chose a prostitute over your own child. She raised her walking stick, and hit Barasa on his back. He fell to the ground. Mama, stop, he cried. Stop? The same way you stopped being a father? The same way you stopped being a husband? She hit him again. The other husbands started arriving too. They had all received calls from their wives. One by one, Muchoki, Kipchoge, Njoroge, and Omondi showed up at the church. What happened next was the most shameful thing anyone at that church had ever witnessed. The wives made their husbands kneel in front of everyone. Right there in the church compound, these grown men were brought to their knees by the women they had betrayed. Wanjiku stood in front of Muchoki. You told me you had no money for school fees, but you bought her a car. Muchoki tried to speak, but Wanjiku's brother, who was also Kamal's cousin, punched him in the face. That's my sister you disrespected, he said. That's the mother of your children you treated like trash. One by one, the families dealt with the men. Not just the wives, but brothers, fathers, uncles, cousins. The men were beaten, humiliated, exposed in front of the whole community. But something strange happened. As Akinyi watched these men get punished, she felt no satisfaction, no victory, just emptiness, because she realized something terrible. She was just like them, maybe even worse. They betrayed their wives, but she helped them do it. She knew what she was doing. She chose to hurt these women. She chose money over someone else's happiness. The pastor of the church, who had been watching everything, finally spoke. This wedding is cancelled. Everyone go home. Kamal walked over to Akinyi one last time. I prayed for a good wife. I thought God sent me you. But I was wrong. You're not the woman I thought you were. He took off his suit jacket and dropped it on the ground. Then he walked away without looking back. Akinyi's mother appeared beside her. She had been crying. Akinyi, what have you become? I raised you better than this. I worked hard, suffered, and struggled to give you a good life. And this is how you use it. To destroy families? Mama, I'm sorry, Akinyi sobbed. Sorry is not enough. You need to fix yourself. You need to find God and ask for forgiveness. But first, you need to forgive yourself for becoming this person. She walked away too. The women gathered one more time around Akinyi. But this time, Wanjiku spoke differently. We could destroy you completely, she said. We could post your photos online. We could tell your employer. We could make sure you never get a job in Nairobi again. But we won't. Akinyi looked up at her, confused. We won't, because revenge doesn't heal our pain. It doesn't bring back the time we lost. It doesn't fix our marriages. We just wanted you to see us. To see that we are real people with real feelings. We wanted you to understand what you did. Wanjiku bent down and looked Akinyi straight in the eyes. You will live with this shame for the rest of your life. Every time you look in the mirror, you will remember today. That is your punishment. Your own conscience will deal with you better than we ever could. The women left. The men left. The guests left. Soon, Akinyi was alone in the church compound in her ruined wedding dress. She sat there for hours, just thinking, just feeling the weight of everything. Her phone rang. It was her landlord. The married men had stopped paying her rent. She would be evicted in 1 week. Her bank account was almost empty. All the money she had saved was gone. She had spent it on the wedding that never happened. She had nothing. No husband. No money. No respect. No dignity. 3 weeks later, Akinyi moved back to Kibera, back to the poverty she had tried so hard to escape. But this time, it felt different. This time, she deserved it. She got a job washing clothes for families in the neighborhood. The same job her mother used to do. The job she swore she would never do. Every day, she washed clothes and thought about those women, about their pain, about their children, about the families she helped destroy. One day, 6 months later, she saw Wanjiku at the market. She wanted to hide, but Wanjiku saw her first. Wanjiku walked over to her slowly. Akinyi prepared for her to insult her or hit her, but she didn't. Muchoki is in counseling, Wanjiku said. We're trying to fix our marriage. It's hard, but we're trying. For our children. Akinyi nodded, unable to speak. I forgave him, Wanjiku continued. Not because he deserves it, but because holding on to anger was killing me inside. I forgave him, so I could be free. She paused and looked at Akinyi carefully. One day, you need to forgive yourself too. Not so you can forget what you did, but so you can become better. So you can help other girls not make the same mistakes. Then she walked away. Her words stayed with Akinyi. 2 years have passed since that wedding day. Akinyi still washes clothes in Kibera. She still struggles with money. But something changed inside her. She started talking to young girls in the neighborhood. Girls who think that taking money from married men is smart. Girls who think other women's pain doesn't matter. Girls who were just like her. She tells them her story. She shows them what happened to her. She warns them that karma is real. Some of them listen, some of them don't. But she keeps trying. Because Wanjiku was right. The best way to deal with her guilt is to make sure no other girl destroys families the way she did. Akinyi learned the hardest lesson of her life. Money that comes from someone else's pain will never bring happiness. Success built on someone else's tears will never stand strong. And when someone hurts others, karma doesn't forget their address. Sleeping with married men was Akinyi's hobby. Until karma struck. And when it struck, it destroyed everything she thought she had built. But from those broken pieces, she's trying to build something real, something honest, something good. It's too late to fix what she broke. But it's not too late to stop others from making the same mistakes. That's her story. That's her lesson. That's her life now. And every single day, she remembers those women's faces. She remembers their pain. And she promises herself she will never be that person again. Thank you so much for staying until the end. Please hit that notification bell so you catch all my stories the moment they drop. I really appreciate you being here with me. God bless you all.